Stung is a 2015 creature feature directed by Benny Diaz. The catering team for a high-class garden party get more than they bargained for when the event becomes swarmed by giant mutant wasps. But before we get into this buzzing bonanza, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please consider dropping a like and maybe even subscribe, as it would really help my channel grow. So thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your mint choc chip flavoured ice cream flavoured popcorn and whip out your favourite electric bug swatter as we dive into Stung. So the movie begins with these trees being all different colours and that, which is lovely. And we see this buzzy bee just going about its business, which is also lovely. Then all of a sudden it gets attacked by a nasty wasp, which is not lovely. And soon after it gets stung, a bigger wasp bursts out of it. Oh dear. I sure hope this doesn't happen to any humans in the movie. Spoilers! It does. Then we meet our protagonists, who are driving this van which they bought from the Creeper in Jeepers Creepers. Anyway, our main characters are this lass and this lad, who I'm going to call Lasso and Laddo, for the sake of simplicity. They run a catering business and are en route to set up a garden party for some fairly wealthy clients, which is going to be a little awkward as I think Laddo has Tourette's syndrome. Anyway, Lasso is going through her checklist and says,
"Did you bring the wine glasses?"
That was a lie, wasn't it? But then they go over a bump in the road and Lasso's top gets covered in coffee. So she takes it off and Laddo is like, "You never told me you had boobs!"
Could you try not to hit all the potholes and or gardeners?
I will once you put on a new boobs. I can't concentrate on the boobs for your boobs. Soon they arrive at their destination and Laddo says,
"This place is a piece of shit."
"Where's the piece of shit at? Is it behind the mansion?" So Laddo starts setting up all the tables and chairs, while this fella practices his keyboard playing for the evening's entertainment. I'm going to call him Tunes.
Something I can play to cheer up your spirits?
What, anything? Yeah man, just name a song. Okay, how about Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force?
You son of a bitch!
Then who should turn up but Clifton Collins Jr. with a hunchback? And I mean that he's got a hunch on his back, not that he rocks up with Quasimodo. I'm going to call him Blinky, because, well, yeah, that's why. Anyway, the garden party is for his mum's birthday, but her little dog is more interested in digging furiously like, "Dig, dig, 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 diggin'. I appear to be diggin'." But after the doggy runs off to go do other doggy-related activities, we hear the sound of insects scurrying underground like a bunch of scurrying little bastards. Bastards! And then one of the wasps starts buzzing around Laddo, which makes him fall over. God damn it! Anyway, Laddo is frustrated by this vexatious vespid, so he decides to get some payback, shoe style, but only succeeds in smashing some glasses on the table, so well done. Then Lasso walks over and asks him to break up the ice block with a pick.
Don't put it through your hand.
I'm gonna put it through my hand.
Ah! Oh, and when you're done with the ice, I need you to
Move the van to the back of the house. Guests arrive in 25 minutes, so chop chop.
leaving Laddo like,
Hey, Paul, I noticed that you put up all these lights. Climb that tree, huh? Because I know that I didn't get you a ladder.
"I'll be honest, I'm gonna need some help to get down, mate. And there's a squirrel up here that looks like it wants to kick me head in." Then Laddo has himself a loud smoke break, but hears the bell ringing from that loud dog's collar. So he goes to investigate and ends up in this greenhouse, where he finds the doggy and also meets Blinky's mum.
I couldn't help but admire your garden. It's beautiful.
You remind me a bit of my late husband.
Jeez, way to compliment a guy, lady. Tell him he looks like a corpse. Later that evening the party is in full swing with loads of guests enjoying themselves, including this guy who looks like the sort of person Agent 47 would be sent to assassinate. Then this lady walks over and, "Hello? What can I get you, miss? Besides my attention, which you already have."
Gin with a splash of flat water, please.
Are you sure you wouldn't prefer something not disgusting?
Having all the fun here in Cougar Town, huh?
I would be if I could bloody understand what they were saying. Was that with Coke or lemonade? Also at the party is old man Lance Henriksen. With a tash! God, he's been showing up a lot lately, hasn't he? Then the buzzing bastards start pestering Laddo again, so he gets his inner fire giant on and smashes one with a plate. And bloody hell, that bug must have been 90% goo. Then it's time for the hosts to make a speech, so Blinky's mum says,
Thank you all for coming and for leaving the kids at home.
"Oh my god, I've left the kids at home!" But then, so everyone rushes over to find one of the guests has been stung by a wasp. "Ah, he's fine, man. He's just had too much pate." "Don't you mean pate?" "Aye, pate." Then they all hear a rumbling sound coming from the dirt mound the doggy was digging, before it turns into a chocolate fountain of wasps. Except there's no chocolate, only wasps. Everyone freaks the hell out and starts to get their flail on. Well, apart from Lance, who's like, "You lot never seen wasps before?" Back in my day, wasps had steel-toed boots and knives. And unfortunately for everyone's favourite bald assassin, his target gets stung by one of them before he can whip out the fibre wire. And then he starts sprouting giant wasp legs. Lado covers himself and Lasso in a sheet and they head for the house. But on their way they run into Miss Cougar, who now has giant wasp legs coming out of her mouth. And then she splits down the middle as a giant human-sized wasp bursts out from her body. And it even still has her severed head on its leg. Man, I was not prepared for how gory this was going to be. I haven't even got me tissues or hand lotion or anything. Then Lasso says,
Get the fuck off me!
as if the wasp understands English,
I speak English well. I learn it from a book.
before she covers it in a sheet and kicks it away, allowing them to escape. They make it into the house and the housekeeper says the others are in the kitchen. The others being Lance, Blinky and his mum, who says,
Puppy's out there!
Fuck the pooch, Ma.
Ew! Why would you even suggest that, you weirdo? Lado tries to use the phone to call the emergency services, while Lasso looks out the window and sees Tunes outside who is surrounded by wasps. He tries to fight back with the guitar, but it doesn't even strike a chord with them, so he's killed off screen. And to make matters worse, a car has just crashed into the telephone pole. So Blinky reacts the same way I react to every Marvel movie post-Endgame.
Whoop-de-doo!
Well, calling for help is off the table, so Blinky suggests they all hide in the cellar until the wasps buzz off. But then they hear a scream from the kitchen, so they rush back in and find Blinky's mum's gone all wasp spiky and has spiked the housekeeper with her wasp spikes. Blinky pushes her away just before she explodes into a glowing wasp queen. Then they close the door and foolishly prop up the housekeeper against it. Somehow, I don't think she's going to make it. 'Cause he went through her eye! Ha ha ha! Ah! So everyone makes their way to the cellar before the army of wasps descend on them. And it has a big metal door too, so that should keep them out for a bit. Also, Lance does exactly what I'd do in that situation and heads straight for the expensive wine and starts necking it. While they all take a breather, Lado tells Lance that he really likes Lasso and he's worried about how she must be feeling right now.
She's holding up. She's just afraid. I am too. I shot myself. No, I mean it. I shot myself.
And yet you seem unusually fine with that. Lasso then finds a painting of Blinky's family and I don't know what the hell went wrong with that painting, but oh boy did it go wrong.
It looks like we're all taking a shit or something.
Then we see Blinky's keeping something from everyone. In fact, it looks like he's been stung in the hump and has now got a wasp growing in it, which is really, really gross. Lado and Lasso then have a chat about what they'd like to do if they get out of this mess. And Lado ends up telling her a joke.
What is a bee's favorite movie?
If he says B-movie, I swear to God. But the punchline will have to wait, as the house begins to rumble. Looks like those buzzing bastards up top are up to no good. Then Blinky admits that he thinks he knows how the wasps came to be. You see, he mixed some dodgy fertiliser with growth hormones to help the garden grow. But it looks like it ended up mutating the wasps that had nested in the soil. So everyone thinks he's an irresponsible buffoon, but then the lights go off.
What are they, electricians now?
What's that, mate? Your kitchen light ain't working. Have you tried turning it on? No worries, pal. Happens to the best of us. Now then, that'll be £25, please. Oh, he's hung up. Oh, I tell you, I'm going to have to start taking payments up front. Thankfully, Blinky's house has a backup generator because of course it does. Then Lado says he's going to sneak out into the garden to find the keys to their Jeepers Creepers van. Then he'll pick everyone up and they can book it like an automatic fuck it.
How do I know when you'll be back?
Because I'll be standing there in front of you going, any other stupid questions? Yeah, what's the punchline to that bee's favourite movie joke?
Singing in the rain.
Not a bad one, that. Although I've always preferred Pirates of the Caribbean. So off he goes to look for the keys, staying low and quick like a cat in stealth mode. Though I'm not sure there's much advantage to keeping your arse raised that high. Then he spots the keys and makes a move for them, but stops on his way to chow down a sausage because all that crouching takes a lot of energy. Then he grabs the keys and is like, nice, time to head back. After I have another sausage. Back to the others and Lance says,
That young man has balls of steel.
yeah, that's probably why it's taken him so long. But Blinky's gammy shoulder starts to get worse, which gains the attention of Lasso and Lance, before a wasp erupts from his hump, but is still attached to him. Oh, he's got a little hump buddy. Oh, what now? You're always laughing at me, Ken, and I don't know why. Oh, it's nothing. And now it's mind controlling Blinky because why the hell not? And he's about to attack the others, but then...
I'm back.
Lado then sees Blinky's gone all manky, but he doesn't like it when they go monkey. so he gives him a schmack with a shovel. Then they topple some shelves on him and make their way back into the house, which is now looking a bit nesty of the Wasp variety. They try and be as quiet as possible as to not alert the buzzing bastards. But oh no! There's one on the other side of this hole in the wall! Just stay as quiet as possible. What was that? Thankfully it leaves so they continue their escape attempt. They soon find a way out, but the damn door is stuck with all that wasp nest crap. So Lance uses a shovel to pry open a hole big enough for them to climb through. But then a wasp grabs him from through the hole and starts pulling him into it. He tells the others to save themselves, and then old Headleg shows up to chase Lado and Lasso, while Lance grabs a nearby fire extinguisher and says, "Kiss my ass!" before it bites down on it and they both get blown to bits. Poor Lance. But at least he went out like a badass. So Headleg chases Lado and Lasso through the house and they manage to barricade themselves inside this room. But the windows are nailed shut so they can't get out. So they just hide under this table and hope they don't get found. Which they almost immediately do, with their old pal Headleg smashing through the table from above. But Lado is like, "Ha! Got your leg, you leggy bastard!" And they flip the table over, trapping the bugger, before Lasso bashes its head in with a chair. Then the two of them share a tender moment before, oh shit, looks like the other waspy wankers have heard all the commotion, so they run back into the hallway and frantically search for a way out of the house. Unfortunately, they find a big hole leading outside, but once they're out, they look up and see the Wasp Queen staring down at them like, "How do? Trying to escape, are you? Well, we can't be having that." And oh no! It stabbed Lado with its stinger! But lucky for him, the end of it went all the way through so he doesn't get infected. Infected? Infested? Injected? Ah, whatever. He doesn't have a wasp growing in him, that's what I mean. Anyway, Lasso cuts off its stinger trying to save him, but the Wasp Queen gives her a twirling thwack and sends her flying. A short while later and Lado wakes up to find himself gooed up in the wasp's nest and face to face with Blinky and his hump buddy, who look at the stinger in his shoulder and says,
I want to get that out.
"Don't worry, you won't feel a thing." "You said I wouldn't feel a thing!" "Yeah, but I didn't think you'd believe me." Then the Wasp Queen lays this big maggot and Blinky tries to make him swallow it whole because it's bad! Bad Blinky! But all of a sudden a hedge trimmer bursts through Blinky and slices him in half. "How'd you like the 50% discount, Blinky?" Then she cuts Lado loose while keeping the Queen at bay by threatening to kill the maggot, and the two of them leave the nest holding it hostage. Lasso then breaks open a gas pipe and drops the maggot on top of a pile of something flammable. Then once they're in the van, she lights another tin and throws it into the house with incredible accuracy, and before it ignites the rest, they speed off and then boom! The mansion and all the wasps within go kablamo. Hang on, did that wasp just do the Wilhelm scream? Yep. Yeah, it did! But it ain't over until the fat lady sings, or in this case, until the wasp lady stings, as the Wasp Queen is still alive and chases after them like some sort of flaming final boss. It smashes through the window and Lado tries to stab it, but it bites his arm and won't let go, so the two of them pop on their seatbelts and floor it, driving the van as fast as they can into a nearby tree, squashing the Wasp Queen good and proper. Then our heroes see the emergency services arriving, and I was going to say, how are you going to explain this to the authorities, but I think the giant squashed wasp kind of explains a lot by itself, doesn't it? And so the day is saved, with Lado and Lasso finally able to give each other that big old smooch they've been hankering for. Ooh, they're really going for it. And yep, now they're getting busy in the back of an ambulance. But then as the police are checking out the deceased wasp, a cow head lands on one of them, and we see a whole load of cow wasps flying overhead, leaving our protagonists thinking, end of movie. And there we have it, folks. Stung is a thoroughly entertaining and surprisingly gruesome good time. It's funny, it's got decent characters, and the practical effects are fantastic. This is one B-movie I highly recommend, so long as you have the stomach for it. So, Stung, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? Let me know in the comments below while I tell Ken a joke. Hey Ken, what's a bee's favourite letter of the alphabet? Could it be the letter B? Nope, bees don't have a favourite letter because they're bees.